Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, so I have the longest presentation, but I'll try to make it a little quicker for you guys. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the approach we take when we working about project Coders4Africa and mention some of the technologies that we use. So my name is Ali Kone. I'm co-founder of Coders4Africa. I was there from the beginning with Amadou. And currently, acting as the chief operating officer. And my background is electrical engineering. 11 years experience in a lot of different things. And I'm really passionate about functional programming. That's what some of you guys, But really, I also like my work to be used for social development, for purpose. Sorry. And that's why, we are now here at Coders4Africa. So topics, topic about Coders4Africa approaches, interesting technology that we do and we use, some of the process that we use, and showcase an application that we have developed for Coders4Africa that make mention of some of the things that we talked about. So Coders4Africa, of course, we love Africa. But more than Africa, really, we love technology. We're all passionate about it, And more than that, we're even passionate about really providing practical solutions. We solve problems, for people, and we always keep in mind the constraints that we have, and also consider the business side and the technology side also. It's really all of these aspects, works together for us. There's a business, there's a technology, and there's also design. If you, like the big company, only consider the business and the technology, sometimes you will miss the user experience, as David mentioned. If you're more like marketing and you only worry about technology and design, you may create something that is not really practical or feasible to do. It's going to be expensive to do, that's not technically viable. Or if you think about the startup, I'm having a great idea and design, technology, and you do all of these things, but forget about the business side. So all of these, are important for us when we develop Coders4Africa. We really have to understand the environment to make sure, understand something, understand what's going on. So we also innovate. Make sure, use, the tools, that we have. So whether in Africa or in other places, we consider the constraint that we have in actually address it. So in mobile, I'm going to talk just a little bit about in Africa. Currently, smartphones are 11% penetration rate, and about growing at least 40% a year. So it's growing. In Africa, we have more than 1 billion population, and so it's growing in people. Are getting more intimate with all kinds of devices, not just the mobile, but all different kind of devices. And the current trend, even for traditional application, is to even think mobile first, when we design, because a lot of the same concept that you use doing that you can apply now, and there even innovative solution that some company provide, to solve the connectivity problem. Vumi, for example, is provide a service where people can use demonstrate for connectivity, where they can use SMS behind the scene, or USSD, or the internet, or even Twitter, to handle the mobile messaging for them. And you don't have to worry about it. This is an example of mobile architecture, like from Microsoft Stack. And suffice to say, when we develop for mobile, we have to consider the constraint that it's usually lower performance. We have to worry about the battery life. We have to worry about internet connection is always connected. So you're thinking about, okay, it's offline. So the data has to be cache replicated. You only bring in the data that you need. You have to think intelligently about the backend, where it's a server that pushes instead of just pulling constantly. So there's all kinds of different, things you consider in the traditional architecture, and you can also apply that in different settings, But I'll leave it like that. But also there's also the security part, which is important. And if you use a mobile app, you cannot trust anything. So you have to be extra careful. So those are some practical concerns to worry about. There's a lot of open source examples that we can use. I'm just going to choose one of them. Apache Camel is, a simple solution that we can also use. If we just working with, for example, simple phones, they can provide us, SMS connectivity with our servers to chat. So that's an example of what people just mentioned. Now, cloud is one of the technologies with mobile thing I talked about. Now, cloud also is something that we make use of, and it's starting becoming relevant. Everybody must have heard for it by now. There's a lot of benefits, right? So it's flexible. It's you can use it, as a cost reduction measure. It's backups, disaster recovery, and it allows you to really streamline the process when you are having application that needs to be responsive all the time and available all the time, and it's all over in different places. So one of the practical advantages that you get, if you're developing an application in the cloud, is you get a lot of services and things given to you for free. You have a nice management interface that is given to you. You don't have to worry about the management of, okay, where are my hardware, how do I provision them? They're given to you as needed. And you can also do, set up the load balancing, set up automatic, scaling of the number of nodes that you need as your load grows. So this is particularly important if you, as a startup, for example, I start small, I only have 100,000 people using, or just 1,000. But if you scale to millions of users, same platform. So we start from there, okay? So a lot of people now are considering this technology from the get-go. It's developed for the cloud from the beginning. And public cloud are the traditional that we know, Amazon, IBM software, and if you don't want to use it with the public, you can also use it privately also. You can have your own private cloud, or you can have an hybrid. Maybe you have some sensitive data you really don't trust, these guys. So you can have a solution that has both, where you get the benefit of both parts. Now, we have cloud, we manage data. Let's talk a little bit about data, because with cloud, it's a lot of data talking about is big data now. And Abu mentioned earlier that some of the technology that we use was the MongoDB, which is a NoSQL solution. So traditional database out there, we still use it. They have their relevance, and there's different type of solution for database. These are some of them, and they all have their advantages and disadvantages. And depending on what you really want to do, if you want it for caching, or you want to do something for analytics, or you want to do something more to serve your back end for your website or web application, you may choose a mix of these different solutions. But these are some of the things that are there currently. Recently at an investor conference, IBM is saying that, we only hear there's so much more potential data to be used, and it's increasing every day. There's so much more that we can do with it. So in order to process all of these data, we have to really have some powerful techniques and tools to use that. Hadoop, many of you may have heard of it now. It's set to be increased to 20 or 21 billions in 2018. And I'm going to spare you the details, but suffice it to say, with Hadoop, you can manage a lot of data. And one of the innovative things with it is the data is going to move. The idea is you move the processing into the data and maybe just move around the reporting, and then it is redundant. It is thinking about what the application will still run even if there's a failure. So those are some of the way I would solve the big data problem. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about, I talked about the cloud, I talked about data, but all of the data goes somewhere and you have to make some use of it. But nowadays, we have all kinds of devices. And people are talking about, this is just one example, but it's more, it's Google Glass. There's all kinds of devices. And we have to think beyond, we have this data, it's not just a mobile that we're going to use to expose our solutions. We think ahead with different things. These are Arduino chips, like or Raspberry Pi, some of you have heard. Some of them connect them to solar power. These give us, some interesting ideas that we can implement even in Africa, for example, connecting them to some of the sanitation system, where it can track the usage of water towards, the continent cheaply. You can have some simple device that you just connect there, and then have it automatically report to a central database somewhere and see, what is the usage, in countries. So those are like some of the ideas that we can, implement. And I'll pass by those processes that we use to do that. So we talked about cloud data and all these different things, but in order to do that, we really appreciate developers, from our community, there are some skills in different, from many backgrounds, database, front end, like gurus, in big programming languages, or even maybe just designer or people that have great ideas. We value all of those skills, and we actually integrate them as part of our training process. And we have like a unique methodology in how we work at Coders4Africa. We mostly use, the traditional agile continuous, as Abu talked about earlier, the agile methodology, Scrum, and we go through several iterations, make sure we document everything that we do, report on it, and these are things that are very important on our work. And this is like a snippet of our management interface that shows everybody that is a developer works in, actually logs in and has a list of the tasks that they have, and they can manage it and go through the iteration that we have specified earlier. And we work all over, like we have a lot of teams in Africa, here, well, not in Asia or in Latin America, but this just because to just demonstrate that, we use the tools of the trade that we have, in order to make the most of the skills, and the unique abilities that we have. My Work 2015 is an application that we developed for the United Nations. And it is a system where people can submit votes about things that are relevant to them. I see a note here, throughout the world. And it's having an impact, and when we developed this, we actually developed it on the cloud. We're using a lot of technology, we're using Python, Java, JavaScript, as you mentioned. We're using commands with NoSQL, and we're actually also doing reporting. So a lot of the things that I mentioned earlier are part of this project that we have developed. And we developed it across two teams, one in Senegal and one in Kenya, along with us here in the United States. And these are like some of the pictures, from the application. The one on my left side is a snapshot from the mobile version, and that's just a picture of some people in Namibia that have participated in the application. These are different snapshots of the mobile, the previous version of the mobile application. And this is one of the reporting that shows the mapping of the votes where they are. And that's also some of the analytics that we show out of the vote that we collected. I will conclude there, showing a little bit of some of the technology that we use in Coders4Africa, how we go about it, and how we do it, and understanding that we work with the constraint that we have and always willing to innovate and provide solutions for you guys. That's it.